Warning: the show you are about to hear contains muscular, intelligent, and intelligible sexy men discussing B-movies, and will contain movie spoilers. Only one of the previous statements is actually true. You decide.
So light that fuse and let it burn. There's no escape, there's no return. Exploding heads and synthwave licks. We're deep in cult classic kicks. Low budget dreams that never quit. Every frame a misfit hit. This is the B-Movie Blitzkrieg Podcast. This is Duncan and the Baz. The B-Movie Blitzkrieg Podcast.
Welcome to the B-Movie Blitzkrieg Podcast, the show where plot holes are bigger than movie explosions, the acting is optional, and yes, there will be boobs. I'm your host, Duncan McLeish, your guide through the wonderfully warped world of B-movie madness, where logic taps out in the first round and ninjas show up for absolutely no reason. Each episode, we dive into movies from the minds of filmmakers on Scarface amounts of China White. And what better way to kick off this season than with Hard Ticket to Hawaii from 1987, a cinematic fever dream of smuggled diamonds, questionable frisbee violence, and more oiled up chests than an afternoon on Muscle Beach. Fear not, dear listeners, I am not facing this madness alone. Never bring a blow-up doll to a bazooka fight. Joining me on this wild ride is the only man brave enough to wrestle a contaminated toilet python into submission. He is my co-host. He is the man, the myth, the legend, the Baz.
Jawohl, and guten Abend, mein Führer of Fear. Obergruppenführer Baz reporting for Blitzkrieg and duty, sir.
Yeah, the name Blitzkrieg is literally what we're going to do here. This is a lightning war on B-movies. 30 minutes, time capped. This is something we've never done before. We've been accused of being too long form. I'm cutting it down. This episode, I guarantee you, will be 30 minutes or less.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. By the end of this 30 minutes, the whole of Poland should be shiting themselves.
The Blitzkrieg thing wasn't supposed to be taken literally, but I love the fact you've just embraced it and brought on.
Cannot dangle fascism in front of me without me leaping headlong into it, big man.
We are literally going to run this entire first season of 20 movies for you, capturing what can only be described as like a bountiful bevy of B-movie madness and badness. I am so stoked for this. This is like a complete change of pace for me as a podcaster, certainly as Baz as a reviewer, but I can ensure one thing to the listeners out there: they will be entertained from start to finish. Absolutely no way they won't. In fact, so much so that you told me after watching this movie, I quote, "I love this."
Yeah. I should just say that the newer format of this show is based entirely on my sex life. So it's shorter, it's faster, but as you said, you will enjoy it.
And with that in mind, ladies and gents, we're going to close out this first segment here. We're going to be right back right after this. And welcome back. Baz, like 80s chest here, the plot thickens. I'm handing over to you to tell us all about what actually happens in the plot of Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
In a nutshell, Duncan, very little, yet oh so much. I do remember now. I've watched the film twice.
Yep.
First time's pretty high. Not so much the second time. Hence the fact I remember a lot more about it. But I do remember after the first one going, "Lads, find a plot," but that's just amazing. Anyway, basically, it's set in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the name. Not quite sure why the ticket is so hard. Everybody seems to have a plane, so they get there no problem at all. We've got a number of characters. We've got two particularly sexy young pilot chicks.
Oh yes, we do.
Who know how to dress to impress her. There are a couple of white boy martial artist spies. They're not even called agents. That literally refer to them as spies in the film. And then there's a crew of bad guys who have the world's smallest weed farm, which they are guarding with their very lives. Stewie from Family Guy has grown up and now flies diamonds about using a tiny little remote control helicopter. And there is a snake, and I do not know what's wrong with that snake, Duncan. It is fucked up, man. Somebody did something to that snake when it was like a baby snake or something, because it's not happy and its life
It's
has
seen
gone
some shit.
horribly wrong. It has seen some shit and it has taken some shit and it's about to dole out some shit. So basically that's it. There is a hapless restaurant owner gets kidnapped with the bad guys, and that's when we really ramp shit up when we go after her. Yeah.
That's about it. I think it's
Ticket to Hawaii. I mean, none of it really makes a great deal of sense. None of it really hangs together, but there are just hundreds of tits. I mean, there's no need for them even. To be quite honest, I would go as far as to say there are too many.
I mean, that's coming from
never
you.
thought I would say that.
Never to this day. We've recorded in the archives for evidence. At a future date, you've been titted out by a movie, which I mean is never. Yeah, like a first time watch for you though.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'd never even heard of this movie. I did say we were chatting the other night, you and I, Duncan, and I was saying I wasn't very sure what these B movies were when we started chucking about the ideas for this show. And having now seen a couple of them, they remind me very much of like when I was a teenager. We didn't have a video recorder at home, but my older sister who lived in Glasgow did.
Mm-hmm.
So when I used to go and stay with her, she would take me around to the local video store and she would rent me movies and stuff like that. And I was just a daft wee kid and I didn't really have much of an interest in film, but I liked watching movies, you know.
Yeah.
So I've just got acted, that guy's got like a throwing star and his hair's on fire. Let's get that one, you know. And I think a lot of these films were clearly of this genre. So on watching this, it brought a lot of that back for me. But yeah, no, first time watch, never even heard of it. I did a little bit of research, and apparently Paste magazine called this the greatest B movie of all time.
I mean, if you're gonna kick off a brand new show and a brand new series, you start with what Paste Movie considers the best and only go downhill from there.
Absolutely. And that is the extent of my research.
Well, that's all we need to know. Ladies and gents, that has been the plot. We're going to jump out when we come back. It's time to get into a little bit more of the nitty gritty. We're going to be talking about the best, the worst, and the downright bad of Hard Ticket to Hawaii right after this. And welcome back. So, it's time to surf's up, logic's down, catching the wildest waves of what the fuck, as myself and the Baz break down rad, sad, and bad movie moments from Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Let me start off. You mentioned it already, so let me kick off one of the rad moments here. You talked about the boobs, the old tit count. I showed you a couple of days ago. I actually did a running tit count for this movie. Tits on display 8 times in this movie.
Yep.
Now, I'm just going to say, and this was a first for me, tits included in the end credits.
Yep.
Like, physically just in there. And I've never seen that in a movie before. So I'm going to mark that down. You know what? That's kind of rad. So
fair play. My first rad moment, interestingly, comes in the opening credits for a very innovative use of crates.
I've got this.
all of the names of the actors and that are just basically printed on paper and stapled onto the side of crates that they're moving about in their wee warehouse.
Which you never see again in the movie.
Groundbreaking stuff, though.
You never see it again anyway. What I love about it is the way that people start elaborately moving the crates. And like, there's one where a guy actually flips the crate over and the names on it. I'm like, I'm fairly sure you don't do that with crates. Everything points the direction it's supposed to be. Otherwise, shit gets broken. It's just an observation. Here's one here, which I'm going to mark down here. I'm going to go out and say is kind of top tier, amazing. And it's probably the reason most people know Hard Ticket to Hawaii. there's a frisbee death in this one, which at first doesn't make sense, right? You're like, that's kind of elaborate. Why would they do that? But it's signposted all the way through this movie. One of our characters is obsessed with James Bond, like absolutely obsessed with James Bond. And if you've watched James Bond or any of the Bond movies, even though she didn't pick Sean Connery as her favourite, which is sacrilege, I almost switched the movie off there. But there's a character called Oddjob. Oddjob has a bowler hat, which has a razor blade in it, which he throws like a frisbee and thus kills people. They recreate that scene in this movie, but with a small plastic cheap frisbee. And for that, I mean, I will always be eternally grateful.
To come back to the tits, because you can't go too far away from them in this movie.
Go back.
It's the circle of life, big man. What amazed me most about them was just when they're brought with except. So you're saying, right, there's essentially 8 scenes featuring
8
breasts.
individual scenes with tits.
I would suggest that only 2 of them are your traditional kind of love scenes, right?
Yes, that's right.
The rest are completely superfluous and could have just as easily been done with clothes on. And one that I had forgotten about until my rewatch today was there's a bit on the beach which actually leads into one of your more traditional love scenes, right?
Yep.
But first off, it's one of the girls who I believe is in witness protection because
That's
she
right.
tells everybody that
She's all the way through the movie. She says she's in witness protection, which is what you do
constantly. In restaurants, she's telling folk how much she's enjoying her new identity. It's all good stuff. She's walking down the beach with one of our white boy martial artist spies, and he pours a couple of glasses of wine out. You know, he's going to loosen the wheels, as it were, get everybody in the mood. She walks up to take the wine, just takes her top off. Thanks very much. And I had written down here in my comment, and this has to be said in your head in my voice, "Well, be glass of wine, hen." Sure, just let it to my tits out first. Again, another rad moment.
There are choices in this movie that make you wonder if, from a male perspective, they know how women operate. Like, just in general. Here's one that I'm going to say, I don't know if it's a bad moment, but it's certainly a confusing moment. There is a sports journalist character in this movie with a British accent who is a spy, like mentioned before, James Bond level spy, who does no fighting, no gunplay, no action, and appears to, in this movie, only interview sports personalities, thus making him a sports journalist and not a spy. I mean, what are we doing here, Baz? What are we doing here?
I don't know. There was a number of characters that I was left frankly baffled by. But they're all ingredients in the wonderful soup that is Hard Ticket to Hawaii, mate. That's all I'm saying.
Can we talk about the snake? You mentioned it before. Can we talk about the snake?
Yeah.
Like, someone at some point was like that. We need to like shoehorn a puppet snake into this movie, but it can't be a snake. It can't be a venomous snake. This is contaminated with, I don't know, like the bubonic plague or something, and was just casually like in a like shipping container that escapes and just goes for a jolly on this island.
Yeah, it's like it's full of crystal meth or something. The actual line, I was going to use this line in a later segment in the show, but we can probably chuck it in here because there's a plethora. This show is awash with great lines. But there's a little guy back on Honolulu who is constantly trying to contact our sexy pilots to warn them of the danger from this snake. And when he finally gets through, he tells them that the snake, and here's the direct quote, "That snake has been infected by deadly toxins from cancer-infested rats." What? You know what I mean? It's like what's everything that's bad? Like, we all hate rats. Let's give them cancer. You know, and there's toxins in it.
I want you to be on the other end of that call. What?
You know, what? Care if it's got cancer? You know what I mean? Unless it's giving me a transplant, you know, unless I'm getting one of its rat kidneys or something.
Unless an ear's grown on it. We're not interested.
Exactly. Fucking madness. Here's a sad moment.
Oh, go for it.
Or it may be bad under the glare of modern political awareness.
Oh, God.
And I will say some of the words I've written down here. I was in a very 80s place when I was watching the film, so I'm not actually going to read this verbatim from my notes, but there is a character in this. Now, I don't believe that they are trans in any way or cross-dressing or...
No. He's a spy.
QXYZ plus, right? But he's dressed as a woman.
Yep.
Quite convincingly at first, I will say. Do you think
so? I was like, I clocked this.
Apart from the life-size golden swan on his head, is quite something. Quite something.
It's also like not hiding their disguise all that well. If every time they go to give the phone to someone, they take 5 minutes to connect their little receiver. Like every time the phone goes, she's like, "Oh, there's a call for you," and then she's like out with the wires, fucking connecting this thing, putting headphones in, and then going, "Oh, I think it's for you," and then standing off to the side like this during the whole. It's not doing things particularly well. I have one more thing that I want to say, but I'm actually going to hold it to a plot hole because I think it's like maybe one of the biggest plot holes of what the fuckery in the entire movie. So I'm going to give the last word to you in this segment. Do you have anything else, rad, sad, or bad, that you want to say about Hard Ticket to Hawaii before we take a break and come back with comments on the script?
Well, I would have to say we've missed the most rad thing in the film, which is the phenomenal use of martial arts. Whether it is two white men sparring with each other on a boat, and giving it on a sound effects, but that pales in insignificance compared to the visionary use of nunchucks as a fashion accessory in sluttily dressed cargo pilots. I mean, these two pilot chicks, imagine you go to the Halloween store because you want to go as a sexy cargo pilot.
Mm-hmm.
They bought two of them and made the two leading women in this film wear them along with cowboy boots, and one of them just nonchalantly hangs a full-size pair of hardwood nunchucks off her belt, chucks them about later on. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I would have to say the use of martial arts in here is right up there with American Ninja. The finest martial arts film ever made.
High praise indeed. And on that shocking note, shots fired to American Ninja. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to be discussing one-liners, script choices for Hard Ticket to Hawaii. And welcome back. So it's time to do some hard quotes to Hawaii, one-liners that should have stayed on the mainland. I'm going to kick us off, Baz. Love this line here because it is fucking awful. If brains were bird shit, you'd have a clean cage.
Love that one. I had that one down. My first one, the sexy cargo pilots have just found two little polo mint tins full of diamonds in a small remote control helicopter in the middle of nowhere, and then bravely fought off death from two overweight gangsters through a fantastic use of throwing stars, it has to be said. And they're back at their VHQ. They've not opened the tin. They don't know it's diamonds. They need to figure out what's going on. And then we get the line, Taryn, we need to figure out what just happened. Let's unload and hit the jacuzzi. I do my best thinking there, which leads us straight into the first of these scenes where they have their breasts out for no reason. Well, I mean, they're in a jacuzzi.
They're in a jacuzzi. I mean, that's... Yeah, but I dispute the need for the jacuzzi right after the... Well, maybe unwind. You talked about martial arts scenes on a boat. What about Confucius say, Man with deadly hands must be very careful when slapping on aftershave.
It's only funny though when it's said in the racist Chinese
I,
parody voice that they use in the
2025,
film.
I am not doing this on the debut show, right? I want to have 20 episodes of this season, so I ain't doing that. So,
Fair enough. Well, for tasteless stuff that's not acceptable anymore, how about you practically raped me last night? That was last night, Charlotte. This is today. Me too, Charlotte. Me too.
hashtag me too. Hashtag me too. Yeah, there's a Weinstein character in here who is scarily on point.
Questionable.
What about all I want to do is suck the polish right off your toes? I mean, if that's not flirting at top tier level, I don't know what is.
Well, I'll tell you what is. You can sit here right in my face. Why? Is your nose bigger than your dick?
Well, this is legitimately my favourite line of the entire movie, so I'm going to throw it in here. You can go down on her, but you're going to be kissing the back of my head because I'm already going to be there, if you know what I mean. I mean, someone wrote that and thought, this is shit hot. The script right here.
They wrote it for that character. The maitre d' boy that delivers that lines is the most odious thing in this film.
Yeah, he's the horniest man alive.
It's horrendous.
And that's including you in this conversation. He's the horniest man alive. He is a walking bag of smut.
There was a really good line later on in the movie, and for it to be really funny, I kind of had to ad-lib a little bit on the end of it. But basically, the real bad guy is sending one of his goons out to deal with it, and he says, "Show no mercy, kill them all." And the other wee guy just turns around and goes like that. I understand. Do you really, Sherlock? Really? Show no mercy, kill them all. You cracked the code, did you, mate? Nice one. This is why we're paying you top dollar. Fucking hell. You know what I mean? Didn't they say things like that in The Wire, did they?
No. We finally got them. I'm going to say it's not a quote, but I'm going to mention it here. This movie does have a theme song. Named theme song. It has a track called Hard Ticket to Hawaii, and it is fucking terrible.
It was, I absolutely loved it.
I know you did, but it's absolutely terrible.
I'm fairly sure it was, but at first, in my first watch, granted I was high, when it came out, I thought it was Mr. Remember? Kyrie liaison.
Yeah.
I think on looking back now, I believe it was probably one of the leading Mr. tribute acts. Like, I don't know, Mr. Fister or something like that. Sister Fister. Something. Do you know what I mean? There's a whole plethora of names. You know I'm a names guy, Duncan.
You're
I can name pretty much.
I don't know
if I was naming your Mr. Tribute Act, you probably would never book a gig.
All I'm going to say is I remember the scandal when the Scissor Sisters came out and people understood what that was. I don't think Sister Fister's going to get traction.
No. I do think that song was absolutely bitch. And then they've got another one that's just called Hard Ticket.
Yeah.
At the end. So they've got two songs.
I mean, that's old school. That's 80s. You double it up. More airplay. Ladies and gents, with that, we are going to bring in probably the most important yet shortest segment of this show. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about plot holes, Baz, of which this movie has so many that it's difficult to pick one. But we're going to try and do it right after this. And welcome to the penultimate segment of this recording here. Plot holes you could fly a remote-controlled chopper through. Right. I'm going to kick up the big one here. There's diamonds being smuggled. There's a plan that an English gentleman, because he's the criminal villain at the end of this, has to be English, is all about they'll never uncover our master plan. The end of this movie, I still don't know what the diamonds are being smuggled for. I don't know who's facilitating this, and none of our spy agents seem to care either. So that's a big plot hole for me. I don't know what the villains are doing. So that's my plot hole I'm putting out there. Baz, what do you have?
just before I go into mine, tagging on to that, why they feel the need that they have to fly in this little helicopter
Tiny
thing.
helicopter. Yeah.
I could see if they had the drones that we have nowadays, but this is essentially just a large
I
China
could see if there
toy.
was a Coast Guard out on this thing fly. There's no one there.
And to make things slightly worse, he seems to be controlling it with his walking stick, which is fucking weird. Anyway, no, my plot hole, the thing that bugged me, actually goes back to so when the girls find the helicopter thing, or it chases them, and they get the diamonds out anyway, and these two fucking buffoons come roaring out the jungle on their wee quad bikes or whatever the fuck they're riding. There's a fairly heavy gun battle ensue, and then the sexy cargo pilots take them down with their traditional Japanese karate weapons. And one of them chucked a throwing star
Yep.
at the fatter of the two hoods, which takes him down fucking drenched in blood. And then shortly after that, they go to meet their boss up at the restaurant with rapey maitre d', and he's still clutching his chest, but his shirt is pristine.
Oh, he's changed his shirt, Baz.
That annoyed the crap at me.
He took time to change it. You're looking for plot holes where there isn't one, my friend. He changed his shirt. Shirt budget in this movie through the roof. I think, you know what? I think it's time that we lean in here. Me and you refresh our beverages. When we come back, we attribute this movie a goddamn score and close out this debut episode of the old B-Movie Blitzkrieg. We are going to do that right after this. And welcome back. So, Boobs, Bazookas, and the 5-point scale. That's right. We're going to rate this chaos like true cinematic scholars. Our scoring system over here is 1 through 5. I'm not even going to quantify what the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, or the 5 actually means. It's just 1 through 5. I gave this movie a 3 out of 5. Tons of fun, made me laugh a lot, plenty of boobs, and didn't give me the ick in the way the boobs were shown. They were tastefully shot. Baz, what are you giving Hard Ticket to Hawaii out of 5?
I'm going to give Hard Ticket to Hawaii a rock hard 4.
You bitch.
I really enjoyed it. I had such good fun watching this film. I was toying earlier on about a 5, and I'm like, you cannot give this film a 5.
You've already given this movie higher than what you've given Tenebrae, so let's not go there.
Yeah. We've got to quantify right at the start. All these films, none of them are great films.
No.
But they're fun to watch, and this one, just the right amount of goofiness, peppered with the stupid, over-the-top, fake explosions and all that. I just really loved it. The characters were hilarious. Yeah, like I say, I've watched it twice already. I would happily watch this film again.
There we go. That's all we can ask for when doing the B-Movie Blitzkrieg. Well, ladies and gents, you've made it through, and we have kept this under, I'm going to be confident here around, and I'm going to stick this fucking landing. It's going to be under half an hour. So all that's left for me to say is this has been episode number 1 of the B-Movie Blitzkrieg podcast. We've laughed, we've cringed, we've been stunned into silence as a giant mutant snake battled for screen time against a frisbee of death. And somehow, the worst actors still won. A big thanks for joining myself and the Baz as we dove headfirst into the profound script choices and cinematic chaos of Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Now, if you had fun, do us a favour, smash the subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever questionable life choices are streamed. And be safe in the knowledge that we will be back with you in 2 weeks' time, where we cover Chopping Mall. That's right. That's a movie with the killer robots and more 80s foreplay than a teen lock-in at a mattress store. Until then, stay safe, stay silly, and remember, here at the B-Movie Blitzkrieg, the bizarre meets the brilliant, one B-movie at a time. Say goodbye, Baz.
Keep those panzers rolling, folks, and keep your foot on the accelerator. Blitzkrieg!